Okay, I decided just to create a video instead of sending you the answers. So let's go through this starting with the first question that we did in class. What percentage change in height did Filipino men have between 1880 and 1890? So we need to go to the correct sheet, which is the Philippine sheet. And here we have, you identify 1890 and 1880, so the difference between these two. So the height of men, we assume this is the height of men even though it doesn't specify here, is 158.9 centimeters, and we assume it's centimeters as well even though it doesn't say, because that would make sense. And then it increases, it looks like, between 1880 and 1890. So we need to take the difference of that to get the percent change. So how we do that is we select any cell we want where we're going to calculate this. So to calculate anything, you first type an equal sign. That starts a formula. So now Excel's thinking, okay, I'm going to receive some type of mathematical formula. So equals, and then we can take 1890's height and we subtract it from 1880's height to get the difference. To get the percent change of something, you take the difference and you divide it by your starting value, which is the 1880 height. Click enter, and our answer is 1.63625%. So if you want to format this, you can go up here and just select percent, and that will round it to the nearest. For the question, though, it asks you to round, I think, has a margin of error of 0.001, so to the nearest thousandth. So we'll actually push this out. So it's 1.636%. But I think how they want us to answer it is not in a percent form. It's just in a number form. So we're not going to do, we'll just go to a general number and we'll push this out. So that would be your answer right there. Okay. Or I guess it would just be, your answer would be that to the nearest thousandth, 10th, 100th, 1000th. Okay. Then we go to, let's see, the next question is, what is the average height for men, for United States men over the whole data set? So let's go to US, and you can just select everything here, and you can see down here it gives you the average. So that's your answer right there, 173.276, round to the nearest hundredth or thousandth. Okay, the next one. Okay, we have some instructions. So it says the rest of the question pertain to an exercise where you'll invest $10,000 over the course of 15 years. Follow the steps below. Okay, so we need to create a new sheet, and it says in cell A1, enter year, and in cell A2, input 2023, and then extend out 15 years. So this is the investment. The investment is 15 years long. So 2023 is the first year, so we need to extend it out actually 14 more years. So I'm going to type in 2024, and then I'm going to let Excel do the rest of the work, because if you highlight these two cells, and then you see when you highlight over and that little plus sign turns to a black. So once you have that, click and drag, and it's going to intuitively know what you're trying to do and that you're trying to extend it out as far as you tell it to. So I'm going to extend it out to 14 more years. So it's a 15-year total spread. Yeah. Okay. All right, next. see, we'll go to the next one is in column B, add label principal. Okay, and then it says put 10,000. So we'll do 10,000 in there, and then it says write a formula to increase the principal amount 5% every year. Okay, so what this means is the principal is how much you invested initially. Now, the assumption here is that whatever you invested in is you're going to get a 5% return rate on that. Now, this is what's called a nominal return rate. So it's how much you're getting, the rate of return you're getting on your investment. So an example of this might be a certificate of deposit. You can buy a certificate of deposit, and $10,000 is actually a pretty normal, that could be a normal amount. You can buy cheaper ones or more expensive ones. Certificates of deposits are typically backed by the federal government, so you're pretty much guaranteed to get the rate of return they say. A 5% rate of return on a CD is reasonable. So to see how much we would get over the course of 15 years, we would say, write a formula. So equals our principal amount. So we select B2 and we say times now 5%. Now a 5% growth rate. So we're actually going to do 1.05, because if we just did 0.5, it would only give us $500. So we want this to show $500 plus the principal we put in. So we hit equals, and now that's $10,500, and that's what we would expect after 1 year. We would expect $500 on top of what we initially invested, so $10,500. Now, because this formula is referencing B2, when we copy it down the sheet, it's going to dynamically change from cell B2 to C2 to D2. So if you think about it like this cell is referencing one cell above it. So if you copy this formula to this cell, it's also going to reference one cell above it. So I'll copy that down, and now you'll see what it's done is it's now multiplied that 5% growth rate off of our new principal amount after year 1. So this is the beauty of compounding interest, is the return you made of 5%, that is continuing. You're continuing to see a return on that new amount every year. Okay, now we're going to account for interest. So it says in column C, type in, or sorry, not interest, but inflation. Now, inflation, we'll talk about this more later, but essentially is you accounting for the fact that prices increase. They tend to increase over time. That's called inflation. Now, there's a rate of inflation. It's given to you here. So it's given to you as 3%. So what we're going to do is we're going to type in 10,000, just like we did for principal. But to account for the rate of inflation, we're going to use a very similar formula, and it's given to you, which is C2 times, same as before, 1.03. And then we're going to copy that down. And you'll notice the cell below it, it just C2 to C3, so it's referencing the one above always. And it does the same over here. Okay, now how do we interpret this? So basically, this $10,300 after 1 year, this is saying that what you could have bought in 2023 with $10,000, let's say it was 10 $1,000 surfboards, okay? What you could have bought in 2023, those 10 $1,000 surfboards, it would cost you now in 2024 $10,300. So your purchasing power has decreased. I know it's kind of counterintuitive because the numbers increased, but what you could have bought for $10,000 in 2023 now costs you $10,300 in 2024. So the value of your money has decreased. And we show that by increasing the principal amount. So what we do, this will make more sense here. So when we jump into column D, this is your real total increase. Okay, so now this is just going to be B2 minus C2, which is what it says to type in. Another trick is when that black plus sign pops up, you can just double click it and it will auto fill down to wherever there's data in the adjacent column. Okay, so you can see here in year 2024, although you made $500 on your investment, which is 5% of your principal, your real rate or your real return is only $200 because now you're accounting for inflation, which is a cost. And this continues all the way down towards your 15th year. Okay. Actually, this needs to be one more year. Yeah, sorry, this is actually only 14 years. So let's copy that to 2037, and we can just copy these formulas all together down one more. Okay, perfect. Sorry, that was my mistake. Okay, so the first question, now that we have this all set up, is if you input 2023 as your start year, what year is your end year? Okay, well, we just look down here, 2037, that's our end year. That's when our investment is, we'll withdraw the money, or if it's a certificate of deposit for 15 years, then that's when we can collect our money, our returns. The next question is, what is the nominal return for this investment? Your nominal return is your return not accounting for inflation. So you would take the value in B16, like it says in the description, and you subtract it from your principal amount. So you can type in nominal return is equal to B16 minus B2. Okay, so $9,799 is your nominal return. That's how much money you made on the investment. Then the last question is, what is your real return? Now your real return accounts for inflation. So this will be equal to this number here in cell D16. That's the real return you got off this investment accounting for inflation. Okay, that sums everything up. I'll go over this in class on Monday if you have questions.